feel like as long as you believe in yourself and you have the confidence in yourself, regardless of how many times somebody tells you can't do something, as long as you continue to try and you have not given up on yourself, then you will forever have that fire burning in you. But the moment you allow somebody to take away your confidence in yourself is when you lose. My sister-in-law, she hates when I say that, but like it just be feeling weird saying our sister, because like, you know, we married and it's not no ancestry stuff type going on. But yeah, our sis is keeping them so that we can have alone time and be alone with the baby. If you don't know, we have our son. He is 3 weeks old.
3 weeks. Yeah, we got a 3-week-old son and a 5-year-old daughter.
4-year-old.
She's about to be 5.
In November, though. It's May, my dude.
Forward thinking, sweetheart. Forward thinking. And a about to be 2-year-old.
Oh, next month.
And let me tell you, they think they're the parents.
They do. Like when they call us, checking on us, yeah, I said that. They're checking for their brother. They're not really checking for us for real. Like they see, as soon as they see that we right there, okay, cool, y'all still good, yeah. But where's my brother?
Where's my brother at? Ultimately, that's really what's important here.
It felt like for people like to like, because I'm trying to find the words.
Find them, sweetheart.
They're like, you know, have kids, but like your kids are older and y'all be saying like they be ducked off in their phones or doing whatever. This is how quiet the house sounds when they reach that age.
Yeah.
But then I can't even say that because I've been a part of families that they interact with each other so much. Like when they at home, they don't be on their phone. Like you ever like have a friend or cool with somebody, like when they're around their family, like you don't never hear from them because they that in tune and active with their family?
No, actually, I don't. I don't have a friend that has a family like that.
Okay, well.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, not no more, but I've experienced people that have that type of bond with their family.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that it's like, I'm with my family, so I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah.
Like literally, like turns the phone off. Like I'm not really fooling with y'all right now because I'm with my family. Like that's what I want our family to embody. And people like literally were like, oh, well, they're young, so of course they do that now. But I believe like when you're older, you have that choice of wanting to really love and be around your family. And I just hope that that's our children. Like I don't want a space where we don't eat dinner together or breakfast together. When we have food, like we don't eat at the table together. Like growing up, I feel like that's one of the things that was instilled in me very, very at a very young age.
Like eating with your family?
When I say every meal was ate at the table together.
Yeah.
Like that's
beautiful.
We weren't allowed to go off in our rooms. Like wasn't allowed to have our phone at dinner time or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it had us, you know, there to be able to talk, and we would have conversations. I would say that's like some of the best like memories with my family is like dinner time and us just eating and everybody talking about their day. Like we didn't necessarily have much, but I knew that like if we had a meal that night or that day, that we would be eating at the table and, you know, discussing our day.
Right.
Even if we, you know, didn't have a platform to discuss everything, you know, I knew that would happen as far as, you know, communicating and being able to have that at the end of the day or beginning of the day.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I honestly do.
And I want our children to have that as well. of like, yeah, we still eat at the table.
We still talk to
We
each
still
other.
talk to each other. Like, but you're gonna say when you go off in the world and you're a young adult and you're experiencing life for the first time for real, like
Mm-hmm.
home is supposed to be that safety, but what if home isn't that safety? Like you come home and you more isolated than you was in the world.
And it's like,
Like I
damn.
feel like home is not a place of isolation. A lot of times, of course, you find your peace of mind and your time to, get back to yourself and everything like that. But I don't think it needs to be a place of isolation now, especially with social media. It's very easy for your home to now be an isolation spot to where everybody want to be off on their own, doing their
Right.
own thing, don't want to be bothered because life is just so blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely agree. I think it's easy for as parents to kind of let that go by the wayside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we don't prioritize it, it just depends on where you have your priorities. You know what I mean? Some parents are focused; they're not able to really create that culture for their children because maybe they're always at work or they're a single parent or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So they're not really able to establish that culture because the time just doesn't permit. Um, but still, even in that, I think you can create the time regardless of your situation. You can maybe create some type of time to where you establish the culture of a true family, like eating together and spending quality time together,
Yeah.
and making sure that your ideas are discussed and your feelings are discussed and
Validated.
prioritized and validated. You know what I mean? Like all those things are important. I do think that, as parents, um, I think a lot of parents create this friction between them and their children because they love their children so much and they can see themselves in their children and they can see some of the same habits or tendencies in their children that maybe they had when they were younger.
Mm.
So what they try to do is they try to give advice, but the advice that they give is sort of speaking from a place of hurt or a place of trauma or a place of experience. However, the way the advice is given,
It's not received.
it's sort of given as a demand.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you better do or else this is going to happen. And I think that there's a fine line between giving advice and then
Giving guidance.
giving guidance and advice and giving demands or demanding advice. Like giving demanding advice to your children, I don't think is a good thing when they get to a certain age. Like when they're able to make decisions on their own, when they're at the age where they can make decisions on their own, I don't think it's good for parents to try to give demanding advice because they're human beings, you know what I mean? They should have an opinion on whatever idea you present to them.
Yeah.
So to demand something of them when they may not feel the same way that you feel about a certain thing, um, it's kind of like trying to take away their,
Individual.
their individualism as a human being, like their ability to think and reason and process things on their own. Like you don't want to strip somebody of that, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you have of your own if you don't have your own thoughts and your
You
own opinions?
yeah.
I mean, how do you separate yourself from everybody else?
I mentally tell myself that all the time.
Yeah.
Like when I'm like parenting.
Yeah.
Is
Our children are
that
young though. They're like,
no, but I tell myself that my situation isn't their situation. So
oh, for
although
sure.
something may seem familiar
Mm-hmm.
and it's bringing very much so deja vu back
Mm-hmm.
because your children are little versions of you, but they are not you. So it's
Yeah.
little things that our children do that I see myself in.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to correct that because you want them to be better than you.
Right.
But I constantly tell myself, my children are not me.
Mm-hmm.
They are versions of me. They're versions of their father, but they are not us.
Right.
So me trying to change or sway them away from certain things, it's actually like as a parent, that's stunting their growth, because my lesson and what I've learned out of the situation, or what I went through, is not the same as what they're going through, or it's not the same situation that they are experiencing. It
That's
just
deep.
looks familiar, and it cuts, and it's a trigger for me, because as a parent, a good parent, you want your children to be better than you. You want them to have more than you. You want them to go farther than you. Like, if you're a parent, you don't want that for your child. That's just weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, go back to a question: what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? Weirdest thing that I've ever seen is people tell us that, oh, I didn't have this as a child. I didn't have, my parents didn't leave money for me or set up a life insurance policy for me. They'll get a GoFundMe. They'll be all right when I'm gone. Like, that is the most weirdest thing that you could say as a parent, because you have that responsibility to not only take care of them while they are children, but when they are growing up. So with the thought and knowledge of you knowing that everyone has to lay down back in this dirt, everybody got to die.
Yeah.
And for you to not want to prepare for when you're no longer here, like, you're like, to your children, you are everything. So imagine when you're no longer on this earth. So not only them having to grieve you never being here again, never being able to call mom and dad, never being able to do any of that again, they have to sit up here and struggle financially because you had the mindset that you wanted to go to start a GoFundMe to take care of your children or to take care of your death. That's weird to me. Like,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, so as a parent, certain things that you experience, even if it hasn't been on a personal level, or you've seen other people experience and struggle with, trying to bury their loved ones, why would you want your child to go through that? You know what I'm saying?
That's strange. That's very strange.
That's the type of thing that you sit up here and you be like, okay, like, I need to make sure that, my kids are straight, regardless. And this is something I'm going to be proactive about, instead of you worried about why they got on red lipstick. Like, that's not a priority.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. And I've seen it over and over again, just like you, but parents that don't take their responsibility serious until it's too late.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's too late. You know what I mean? It's like, what can you do when it's too late? It's like
too late.
So, yeah, that's very strange, But listen,
you live, you learn.
You gotta. Human beings have a hard time of like following, I guess, the truth or accepting the truth. We have a very hard time accepting the truth if it doesn't align with what we believe to be true. Which is sort of why we gotta like experience things on our own and bump our head 3, 4, 5 times before we accept the fact that what's been told to us is the truth. Now, I'm not talking about somebody's opinion of truth. I'm talking about foundational truth, like a law, like a truth that's been established by God.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about somebody's opinions that they're calling truth. I'm talking about foundational principles that work 100% of the time without any variation whatsoever.
Right.
Like reaping what you sow. That's a foundational truth that will never go away. You reap what you sow. Hey, humans are just interesting creatures.
They are.
Very, very, very interesting. And I'm one of those.
Real bad. Real bad. But I feel like everybody is to a certain extent. They just got to figure out what it is,
Everybody is what? A human?
No.
Your painting looks nice.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Your painting looks super nice.
No,
I like the fading.
My painting doesn't look good at all, y'all. I messed up.
Look good. But when it comes together, like you gonna see. Because right now I'm just like, what am I doing? And really, like,
I'm not saying it. I see it on hers, but I don't see mine. It's okay.
it's okay, bro.
It's okay. It's okay.
You gonna see it at the end, Pedro.
Is there anything that you actively regret?
Actively
Yeah,
regret
like doing or saying or not doing. Is there
not
anything?
doing.
Yeah, is there anything you actively regret?
Uh, not doing. I would probably have to say no.
No,
It's nothing that I regret. Like regret is such a strong word.
it is. I have a problem with it too.
So it's like I don't regret anything that I've done. Now, do I think I could have made different decisions in the past? For sure. And it mainly would be entertaining or like allowing certain people to be in my life.
Yeah. Was that it?
Yeah, just allowing certain people to have access to me.
I got you.
Yeah, I would say that I could have did without that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that I regret in my life neither because I don't like that word. Um, because I think that everything that we go through in our life or everything that we do, every experience in our life has meaning. Um,
For sure.
whether we make the best choice or not, whatever choice we made had significance, it had meaning, and it ultimately leads you to where you currently are. So I don't think there's much room for regret because, like, it's all divine. You know what I mean? Everything that happens is divine, and that just doesn't create much room for regret. But I do think there are some decisions that I have made that if I were given the opportunity to make that decision again, would I make the same decision? Yeah, I would.
What's the decision?
Oh, just like give an example of one.
Yeah. Or like what's the decision you talking about if you want to say it or not?
A decision that I've made that I would change if I could. Um,
Like I'll give
a
my example.
dec-
Mine would be taking advice from people on a financial aspect that don't have no type of financial aspect. Like you have no type of financial stability, but yet you're guiding me and teaching me somehow.
right.
Like that I could have done without that because it made me not say, like I accept full responsibility because I knew like, oh, you need to save some type of money. But when I was younger and making so much money, I didn't have nobody to be responsible for but for myself. I spent money and did things with money that I literally could have invested or saved, but because I was listening to idiots, uh I followed in that same path.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
good.
that's something that I could have changed because um, I didn't know that it would affect me like years down the road.
Mm-hmm. That's
I'll just
good.
say not years down the road because like obviously like it happened for a reason, but I most definitely could just have more of a cushion if I would have did what I was supposed to do when it was easy money.
Right.
Like I was just taking care of myself. Like there was no need for me to spend how I was spending.
Right.
But that was also for me personally, it was like a trauma thing as well. Like
Spending money.
not never like growing up never having money or seeing family never have money for real. When I started to make money, I had this mindset of like I can make whatever amount that I want to make, but I'm gonna live life. So when I would get paid, I wouldn't, go down to my last dollar. I still always had money in the bank, but I would spend like I was spending to live, and it
Mm-hmm.
was more so like killing my inner child of not being able to just, you know, pick up and go to the movies. Like especially like when I got my car, like Quentin, I would tell you like, I'm like, hey, you want to go to the movies? Hey, you want to go to the jumpy place? Like literally doing the most childish things with my money, but like literally living my best life at the same time.
Yeah, that had value though. That was valuable for you.
Yeah.
That maybe filled a void in your life. Maybe at that time
No, for sure it
that you
did.
needed. You know what I mean? You needed that outlet of expression. You know, being able to spend money the way you wanted to because of how things were for you when you was a child.
Yeah.
So that's healthy. I think it was healthy.
Excuse me.
Yeah. So a decision for me that I made that I would change. When I say I would change it, no, I wouldn't change it, but
Could do better.
could make a better decision if given the opportunity. Although I wouldn't change it, I could have made a better decision. I would say leaving my job at Publix when I left. I left like abruptly. I just
Do
woke
you feel
up.
like you're influenced to leave
No,
Publix?
not at all. Because I wasn't listening to anybody. Like I wasn't influenced at all. I didn't listen to anybody in business or in in business or in my personal life. Like I'll be honest, in business it was people telling me like you shouldn't leave your job.
Okay.
Like until I didn't even have my life insurance license at the time. They're like, you shouldn't leave your job, bro. Like you don't even have your license. I'm like, bro, like you don't know who I am.
Right.
Like
that confidence and pride.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't know who I am, bro. Like anything that I want to do, I can do. Like, so what? I don't have my license. Like, what is that? That's not what is that stopping?
Right.
So now I wasn't listening to anybody, and that's maybe part of the reason that it could have been a better decision made because I didn't listen to anybody, and I just went with my knowledge versus what other eyes were seeing from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Which
well, what they were saying from experience.
Yeah, from experience, which I don't feel. Like I said, I wouldn't change the decision.
Yeah.
Could I have made a better decision? Sure. Right, but who's to say that who's to say? I mean, who's to say? You never know. Maybe if I stood there, maybe I wouldn't have met you, or maybe whatever. I don't know. There's so many different things, so many different factors that come into play.
Right.
It's like hard to even
try to say something about it.
Yeah, try to speak on it. It's just it's life. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You live, you learn, you grow. You mess up, try again. Mess up, try again. I have a question.
Okay.
And this is a very important question. Very important. At what point in somebody's life do you think they start to accept the idea or the fallacy that they're unable to learn something, or they're inadequate, or they can't do something? Like at what point in a person's life, generally speaking, because I know things happen differently for everybody, but generally speaking, when do you think somebody kind of accepts this false idea that they aren't able to do something or learn something or become something? Like when do they accept that defeat? And the reason I ask, just to kind of give a little bit more context to where I'm going, is like how long would you give your average baby to walk? Like would you ever tell a child? Like 2. But no, but what I'm saying is, like, ideally speaking, would you ever tell a child you have until this time to walk, and if you're not walking by this time, just don't ever try again?
No.
You would never do that, right? So,
right.
So I think that same mindset should be kept throughout our life. You know what I mean? Like, just because you've tried a million times and it hasn't worked.
Who says there's a limit?
Who says that you can't do it? Right. Just because it hasn't been done, who says that it can't be done?
Right.
So I think there comes a certain point in somebody's life where they start to accept the false idea that it can't be done.
Because it's never been done.
And because so many people around them are telling them it can be done.
Right.
So they start to believe man versus what God is saying.
Right.
So my question is, when do you think people begin to accept that idea that they can't do something, although it's been told to them that they can, right? Or it's been displayed to them that they can just through their normal life, like everything that they know they've learned.
I feel like when they've reached that point of they no longer believe in themselves, I feel like as long as you believe in yourself and you have the confidence in yourself, regardless of how many times somebody tells you can't do something, as long as you continue to try and you have not given up on yourself, then you will forever have that fire burning in you. But the moment you allow somebody to take away your confidence in yourself is when you lose.
Yeah.
So you get what I'm saying? I was told at a very early age, like, oh, she probably not gonna be able to read. She's not gonna be able to, she probably gonna be mute. You get what I'm saying? And that was just people talking. And me hearing that at an early age, at one point I did believe that, but at the same time, I'm like, it's crazy. At the same time, it's like jokes on you because I actually talk all the time at home. I just don't talk at school.
Right.
You know? Because I don't know y'all people. I don't trust y'all people. And at an early age, that's just, my experience.
Right.
So I feel like as long as you still believe in you, then it don't matter what nobody tell you. Like, it truly don't. Those thoughts, yes, they will eat at your head. Yes, you will have nights where, you hear those words over and over again because the negativity that was spoken over me, I heard it over and over again. Even to this day, sometimes, those thoughts will pop up in my head because regardless of what people say, oh, sticks and stones might break my bones, but words may never hurt me.
That's a lie.
That is the biggest lie ever told. You get what I'm saying? But it was actually put as, I guess, an affirmation for, young people to, have that stuck in their head to where when people was throwing words at them, that you understood that they were just words.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not sticks and stones. It's not physically hurting you. But then that creates a whole different mindset of like, okay, if it's not a stick and stone, it's not going to hurt me.
Why does it hurt?
But you get what I'm saying? And it's just words, but it still hurt. Like, just because that words don't mean it's not going to hurt. Like, words will penetrate you more than somebody, putting their hands on you. I remember as a kid, I used to tell my parents, please, just whoop me. Just beat me instead of yell at me or use your words to say whatever you want to say to me.
Yeah.
Because when I'm laying down in the bed at nighttime, I got to sit up there and battle those words in my head over and over again.
Yeah, I think.
Rather, if you hit me, that pain is temporary. It's going to go away. Exactly. Those words are forever.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people speak negativity over people or say, oh, you're not going to be able to do that, that's never been done, boo, 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 whatever the case may be. When people do that, as long as you accept what people are giving you, then it's going to be very easy to, say you ain't going to be able to do something and you just accept whatever somebody say. Mm-hmm. Regardless of if you have that fight and you have that confidence of, yes, I'm a battle with, someone telling me this, but it's not going to defeat me.
Right.
It's the difference. So I feel like it's no age limit to it. There's no, point in life to where somebody just, give up completely unless they're done fighting.
Right. Yeah, but the thing is, people lose that fight. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Generally speaking, when do you think people lose that fight? Maybe not at age.
I would say an age.
Okay.
Or I would say a life-changing event when people have children. That is the biggest.
That's when they lose the fight?
That's when you lose the fight. Because now you're providing you're not only providing for yourself, you're providing for another human being. So you don't have just yourself to think about. So if you're going to school to be a doctor and you're already 34 years old and you know that that's going to take 12 years for you to get that degree, and you need money coming in now, you make that decision that that's not the career that you take right now because you have a responsibility.
Right.
Right. So I would say whenever people have children, or whenever people, start living on their own and they have that responsibility of paying for bills, that responsibility hit different. It changes.
Yeah.
Because basically, whatever point in life that you hit where you're no longer just responsible for yourself, when you have to think about somebody else. Somebody that don't have to think about nobody else, I'm sorry, y'all got it easy.
Yeah.
Easier. Let me say you have it easier.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's funny because I would think that when somebody has children, that's when they really turn it up and be like, okay, like,
If you have that choice.
yeah,
If you have that choice. Like, if you don't have a village, if you don't have nobody helping you, if you don't have, that somebody supporting you to help you with the kid as you going to school or help you financially, then you don't have that luxury of, oh, I want to start 7 or 10 different careers, or I want to start a new hobby, and you want to invest all this time and this money into 1,000 different things.
right,
When you have a child, you don't have that luxury.
yeah,
Like, you have to make decisions that's based on what's best for you and what's best for your child. And you starting different careers and hobbies all the time and not creating any type of stability, I feel like that is, selfish.
yeah,
It's selfish.
yeah. That's
Because
good.
that makes this. What if that's not your child's pay? Like, that's not your child's purpose?
What you mean?
Like, what if it's not your child's purpose to be an entrepreneur, but to be the next doctor? But you've created a lifestyle of, like, no stability
Right.
because you didn't constantly change your careers. There hasn't been anything stable for your child to see, or any type of consistency for your child to see. I feel like whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for someone, that your child needs to see it from both angles in a way.
Yeah.